Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to episode number 4 of Made with Quantum. Christian, what are we building today?
So today we're going to build an electronic door lock that can be controlled from your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, and using one of our services, using Twilio. Every time the door is either locked or unlocked, a text message will be sent to your phone. Okay. And we'll also be building an LCD screen that will display whether or not the lock is locked or unlocked.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so we're going to be using the 2 of our clients in a server from the starter bundle, and we'll be using a relay and the LCD from the starter kit. The only component that you'll have to buy separately is this, which is just basic electronic door lock. You can get this on Amazon for a few dollars. We'll post the link in the description. Yeah.
All right, so sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Let's get started with the circuit. So first you're going to want to pull out your LCD, your relay, 4 male-to-male jumper wires, and 7 male-to-female jumper wires. And that should be all we need. We'll start by first assembling the LCD. So start by connecting 4 male to female jumper wires on the pins on the back of the LCD.
And the documentation for this is also available.
Yeah, all the documentation for every single hardware component used in this build is on Confluence, as well as how to set up Twilio with the server.
Okay. So we link those down in the description.
Yeah, we will. So now we'll take the ground pin and we'll connect that to the ground port on one of the clients. Take the VCC pin from the LCD and connect it to the 5-volt port on one of the clients. Then we'll take the SDA and SCL pins, connect those to their respective ports on the client.
So this display is gonna use I2C, right?
Yeah, it'll use I2C communication.
Okay, and then how do you get like the address usually?
So usually what you can do is you can just connect so with any I2C device on our system, you can just connect it to the client, and then you can go into the debug properties listed under the clients menu.
Okay.
And we don't have any clients paired at the moment, but if you go to the debug under the actions menu, you can then perform an I2C scan.
Okay.
And if an I2C device is properly connected to the client, it will return the address that it found an I2C device.
Okay, cool. So maybe we do that when we set up the display, just to see how you can get that address later.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the relay and electronic lock portion of this build.
How are you going to power this?
We're going to power this for now through a power supply, but you could power it through multiple batteries. Or yeah, you could figure out some other circuit to get the appropriate voltage. With this lock in particular, you can't power it through the client, just because it requires too high of a voltage.
Okay, and that's why we use the relay, right?
Yeah, we're using the relay to switch to a high voltage.
Okay.
So now we're just connecting 3 male-female jumper wires remaining to the low voltage grouping on the relay. And from the signal pin on the relay, connect that to the GP0 port on the other client.
And that's what we configure later on in the firmware, right?
Yes, exactly. Then we'll connect the VCC pin to the 5-volt port on the client. And the ground pin to the ground port on the client. Now we'll move on to the high voltage side of the relay. In the middle here, in this middle port, we're going to connect 1 male-male jumper wire. And then on the rightmost port, we're going to connect another male-male jumper wire.
Okay, and then I saw there's like open and close.
Yeah, so there's normally closed and normally open, and then that's either side, either one of these pins. For this particular relay, the side that we're going to use in this circuit is the normally open, so that when we switch the relay on, it will then close. The circuit opening the lock.
Okay.
So our lock will normally be in the locked position.
Okay. Or you could set it up differently if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Set it up in reverse.
So that depends on your use case.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll then connect the lead from the normally closed pin or normally open pin to the positive lead on the door lock.
Which is the red cable, right?
The red cable.
Yeah.
And then we'll connect from our power supply the positive lead to the common port on the relay.
Mm-hmm.
And then on our client, we'll connect the other male wire to the ground portion of the power supply, the ground lead of the power supply.
Okay. So the whole circuit is grounded now, or?
Yeah, the whole circuit is currently grounded.
Okay.
But our client isn't powered on.
Okay.
So we can't get this to switch just yet.
Okay.
Or actually, no. We still have one more wire too included. Which is the negative lead on the door lock.
On the door lock, okay.
Yeah. I was missing something. Okay.
Okay.
So now that our two circuits are completed, we'll go ahead and turn our clients on.
There we go. That's the other one.
So there you go. You see that LCD illuminated.
Alright, that's a good sign.
Yep. And the LEDs are flashing on these two clients.
Okay. So
And you can see over on our clients page, 2 new clients popped up in the unpaired section. So we'll go ahead and pair these now.
okay.
So I'll go to the paired section, we'll identify each client. So this client I now know is connected to the LCD. So I'll rename it LCD. And the other client is connected to the door lock and relay. I'll just name this one door lock. Save that. And now we'll do an I2C scan on the LCD client.
Mm-hmm.
You can see here we've navigated to the debug section under the actions panel, and you can perform the scan, and the address of 27 was found. So that means that the address of this LCD is 0x27.
Okay, and that we can use later on when we create the firmware, right?
Yeah, precisely. Okay, so now that we have our client set up, we can go ahead and create our new firmware.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll name this first one door lock. And we'll add hardware to it. And the only thing we need to add is an output, an electrical output.
So that essentially means I can connect whatever I want to that relay, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is a little more generic approach from a hardware perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now under the relay driver, we'll just select GPIO. For the pin, we'll select GP0. That's where we had it initially connected. And then the mode will be initially low. So that means that at its rest state, no signal will be sent out from GP0.
Mm-hmm.
Relay will not be activated.
Right. So the door lock will be open or closed?
So
with the initial state.
With the initial state, the lock will be locked.
Okay.
But the relay will not be activated.
Right.
Once the relay is activated, the lock retracts.
Hey, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so now we'll go ahead and upload. We'll upload this firmware to the door lock client.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can move on and create the
Firmware for the
firmware
LCD.
for the LCD.
And then the address we just scanned was 0x27, so we just gotta remember that.
Yep. So we're going to select the generic LCD 2004 display, the I2C LCD. For the I2C address, we'll input 0x27, which is what we just found, and the layout will be 2x16.
And that is also, yeah, that is the display which comes in the starter kit. So.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so now we'll upload this to the client that has the LCD connected to it.
Mm-hmm. And I think next we have to set up Twilio. Or is that's already set up, right?
Well, yes, on our system it is currently set up. But the way in which you would do that is you would navigate to the library section. And then you would go from the apps, you'd go to the services tab. Under that, you'll see the Twilio service, which there would normally be an option here to download.
Right.
So you would download that, and then you would migrate over to your services page, and you would select the start button.
Yeah.
And then
you just walk through whatever's being in the document is explained in the documentation.
Exactly. Once you press the start button, it'll ask you for a number of different fields.
Right. Yeah, but we got some.
This is all explained in the documentation
awesome,
here.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we won't walk you guys through that. You can just follow the documentation and should be good with that.
Yeah.
So next up is the app, right?
Building the application, exactly. All right, so this is a pretty simple app. First, we're gonna add the outlet, or the electrical output, excuse me. Yep. Add the electrical output, and we'll just name this one output. And then we will add a button, an interface button. And this will allow us to control the circuits we've built from our dashboard interface.
Okay, so I can essentially use my phone to control the outlet in the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so, as it stands now, if we were to just connect these two ports here, the relay would remain activated and the lock would remain unlocked only for the duration you've held this interface button down.
Oh, okay. So we want to kind of keep this.
We want it to toggle, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to add is a digital toggle. And so what this does is once we're given input from the button into the toggle port, it toggles.
It keeps the state.
It keeps the state and it toggles these two output ports here.
Okay.
So we'll just name this object toggle. And we're going to connect the out port from the toggle object to the plug on off port on the output block. And now we want to create a means for sending out a message so we know when the door is locked and unlocked.
Yeah, and we're going to use that message both for the LCD and the SMS message.
Exactly.
SMS message that we send out.
Exactly. So we're going to pull out two data sequence blocks. In one of these data sequences, the top one will correspond to when the door is unlocked, and the other one will correspond to when it's locked. So this is unlocked. This is locked. Save properties. Okay, so now you connect out to the trigger port and now inverted to the trigger port. From here we can pull in an LCD. We'll put that here and we'll just simply name this one LCD. And then we'll also pull out a static string block, two of them.
And those will hold the actual message.
This will hold the message that we send, right? So now we want this string block to output unlocked.
And you write that in the port of
this.
In the string port of the static string. Okay.
Exactly. And this one is locked.
You could also attach like a input text from the dashboard essentially and save the string in there and then kind of modify the messages you want to send out.
Right. So then we'll connect these static string blocks to the string port on the LCD.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. Always keep your objects named correctly so you know what you...
It helps.
Yeah, you know what they're doing.
Exactly. And then we'll clear the LCD every single time one of these is activated. So we're going to clear the previous message off of the LCD so that a new message can be written onto it.
Okay.
And then the string has already been sent to the string block in both of these sequences. So now the next step in the sequence is to send that message to the LCD display.
Oh, okay. So it's actually sending the message to the LCD first, or it's keeping that in the object.
Right.
Then we clear it, and then we actually send it to the display.
And you could swap the sequence as well. So you could initially clear the LCD, send the string,
But it has the same effect.
But it has the same
effect. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so now we'll have a message displayed on the LCD.
But we still need the SMS.
We need the Twilio,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So just type in Twilio, and then under the Services tab, the Twilio object will pop up. So here, just name this Twilio. And there's an SMS message port here. And so that port's set to trigger. So every single time a new string is sent to this port, text message will be sent to the telephone specified in this port.
Okay.
So now from the static string block, for both of them, because we have two different messages that we want to send, depending on a given state, we will connect those two strings. So it'll either send unlocked or locked to this object. And
then we still need to specify the phone number, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
let's put in a phone number in there.
Yep. So we'll put a phone number in.
Yep. Okay.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, so we got the phone number. We obviously won't show the phone number to you guys.
Right.
You can put in whatever phone number you want, and yeah.
We'll send it to that number over SMS.
Okay.
All right. So now we've saved the application. Let's go back to mapping. And let's start it. First we have to map it. So go to the LCD and map the LCD object to the LCD client, and then the door lock to the relay.
Okay.
Done. Now we can save this and run it.
And then we probably still have to set the output, right? Of our power supply.
So now the app is running on these clients, but if we activate the button, we'll still get a text message, and we'll still receive a message from the LCD.
Right.
However, the relay won't actually actuate. So yeah, we need to turn on our output on it. Our output.
Okay.
So now we have that pulled up on the dashboard. Door lock. Press the button.
Okay. So just locked. Oh, and there's a message.
Unlocked.
Nice. There we go. Cool. And what does the display say? Same thing. Okay. And then show the door lock again.
Oops. One moment.
Yeah. There we go.
Wonderful.
Cool. Yeah, I think that shows it, right?
Yeah.
So I could actually put this in an actual door, like somewhere outside, and then unlock it with my smartphone.
Exactly.
Always get messages when something is changing with the door.
And you have a lock after a specified, time.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Christian, for showing us this project, and we see you in the next episode.
All right. See you later, guys.
All right.